Okay, in this video we are adding the rational expressions, not multiplying them. Adding's totally different ballgame. You can't extend the line if there's a plus or a minus. You have to somehow get the same common denominator. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to kind of extend these fraction lines so you have some workspace because you need to bring some things into each fraction. Now let's talk about the tops. Now there's no plus, there's no minus there, so you cross it out, bring it down. Same with this. Cross it out, bring it down. Now the denominator, there's no plus or minus there, cross it out, bring it down. But right there, you got minus, makes a polynomial, so you put it in parentheses and then attempt to rewrite it in factored form. 9x to the second power minus 12x. So it's two terms. It's a binomial, so it'd be GCF and then DOPS. Okay. So I have x on the end. You don't have a negative, then the 9 and 12 are both in 3's row. Okay, so you divide by 3x. And then that when I divide, I get 3x minus 4, and these cancel. So you bring that GCF of 3x down. Don't cross out the 3. Cross out if it's a 1, but not 3. 3x minus 4. Well, you have a minus, but right away 3 is not a perfect square, so that's a no. So you just bring 3x minus 4 straight down. So then this becomes this. So 3x minus 4. Now I have factorized the denominators, and now I come up with a common denominator. So you have a 3, so I'm putting a dot there. And this, remember, x to any power not in a parentheses is expressed as outer x. Now you got 3. I already got that. And then outer x, it's outside, and then 3x minus 4. Put them all within that box there. So 3, I got 1, 1. Okay, so check that, you're good. Outer x to the power of 2 means 2 of them, and that x is to the power of 1, so that would be only 1 of them. This one doesn't count. Okay, so I got to get them both so they're at 2. So I take that 1 that's to the first and just put it as a second, and then you have an x up there that you can just put to the second. So if there's already an x there, you just put it to that power. 3x minus 4, I have 0 and 1. Okay, so you take it to 1. This already has the 1, so this is the one that we need to adjust. And you also need to put times on top and bring it in. Now you have your common denominator. Circle one of them, I don't care which one. And you set that up down here. So put the parentheses. And then outside you just have 3 times x to the second. Well, that's just 3 with x to the second. Nothing really to multiply. Now here's how you find the top. Okay. Right here you're going to put parentheses plus parentheses. Okay. Now here's what you're going to find, what goes inside the parentheses. This is for fraction 1, this is for fraction number 2. Fraction number 1, you need to multiply the 1 in there, okay? So it's 1 times 3x, and then 1 times negative 4. So it's going to be 3x and then negative 4. So you fill that one in with 3x minus 4. Now over here there is no multiplication that we could do, so we just put x to the second. Okay. This is from the top of the first, this is for the top of the second. You need to multiply before you come down here. Use that box right there. So now you rewrite it in proper form, starting with x second, x constant. So x second's 1, 3, negative 4, and that's all you do. I could make you factor that, but I'm not going to. Okay, just put 1x second plus 3x minus 4. Some teachers will make you take that top and rewrite it in factored form, GCFT. I would not. Okay. All right, next problem. If you have a minus, you make it a plus, and then everything on top of the second fraction gets reversed. Nothing on bottom, just everything on top of the second. So now it's going to be negative, and this is positive. Now I'm good to go. So the plus sign means I extend the lines. I'm also going to need to come up with a common denominator because right now the denominators are different. Okay. Okay, now on top you have a plus. You need to put it in parentheses, but you do not need to take the tops and factor them. You do need to put them in parentheses though. Obviously, you have a plus, put it in parentheses, but you do not need to factor the numerators, the top. The bottoms is when you have to do that, okay? So you obviously have minus and plus, and so you go to your scratch paper, and you factor x to the second. It's the denominators you need to take to the scratch paper. The numerators, the tops, which are your numerators, if they have pluses and minuses, please put them in parentheses, but yeah. So GCF, they don't need to be factored. It's a waste of time, but the bottoms have to be. Okay, so GCF here is 1. 1 times negative 8 is negative 8. So it's a mismatch. Positive, negative, and you need to add to try to get to negative 2. So you start dividing. 8 divided by 1 is 8. That's negative 7. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 2 plus negative 4 is negative 2. So you have it. Now your a is 1x to the second. Now you can do this the old way, it's fine. So positive 2, negative 4, then xx, and then you apply the 1 coefficient, which means you cannot simplify because 1 and 2 would only be in the 1 row. Take the 1 off and drop down your x plus 2. Same with this one, okay? Can't really simplify it by dividing, so you drop that and it's x minus 4. Okay, so you're rewriting this as this. So x plus 2 and x minus 4. Now we also have a trinomial here that we need to factor. Bottoms have to be factored, tops don't. You need to put the tops in parentheses if there's plus or minus. So there's 3 terms, so that's GCF in the old table. There's no x, there's no negative, it'd just be 1. 1 times 32 is 32, that's positive, so that is going to be a match. Okay? Just put 2 signs at match, and we need to add to try to come to negative 12. 132, nope. 32 divided by 2 is 16, that's negative 18. 32 divided by 3 is a decimal. If you get a decimal, skip it. 32 divided by 4, 4 and 8. You're not using the quadratic formula. Okay? So you add those and that's it. Now the a is 1x to the second. So negative 4, negative 8. And then xx, 1, 1. Can't be simplified. Take the 1 off. X minus 4. Can't be simplified. Take the 1 off. X minus 8. So you're rewriting this as this. So this became this. This is going to become x minus 4, x minus 8. Okay, so the common denominator, you have x plus 2 in parentheses. You have x minus 4 in parentheses. X minus 4 again, which we already have, and then x minus 8. So x plus 2, you're at 1 and 0. So we need to get them both so they have 1. That already has 1. This, you put a times dot and bring in the x plus 2. X minus 4, you're at 1 to 1. That's good. That's a check. X minus 8, 0 and 1. So this already has the 1, so this is the one you need to adjust. Now you have your common denominator. Circle one of them, doesn't matter which one. Now you're going to combine it into 1. But of course you're going to need to do some simplifying to figure out what goes on top. Okay? Just copy that down. Okay, so parentheses plus parentheses. Okay? I did that too wide. Try to make it so it fits in here. Okay. Now the top, you got to multiply. You have a multiplication, so you need to do it. So you need to take 1x times 1x times negative 8, then 3 times 1x, 1x times 1x times negative 8, then the 3 to the 1x, and the 3 to the negative 8. Okay, so it's 1x to the second, negative 8x, 3x, and negative 24. Okay, so you want to combine those. Okay, you can do your slots in the parentheses if you want. Okay, so you're going to have 1, negative 5, and 24. Okay, now fraction number 2, there's multiplication right there, so you need to FOIL it. Parentheses times a parentheses is FOIL. So negative 1x times 1x, negative 1x times 2, then 5 times 1x and 5 times 2. So it's negative 1x to the second, negative 2x, 5x, and 10. Okay, so x second, x constant. So you have negative 1, negative 2 and 5 makes 3, and then 10. Now you do your slots and combine like terms. X second, x constant. So x second, 1 plus negative 1 is 0, so that goes away. And then on your x, negative 5, so these go away. Negative 5 plus 3 is negative 2, and then for your constants, 24 plus 10 is going to be 34. Okay, so that's all you write. You write negative 2, or sorry, that was a negative 24. My bad, I forgot that. Negative 24 plus 10 is negative 14. I forgot to slot that in. I put 24 on accident. So negative 2x minus 14, or plus negative if you want. Okay, next problem. What I tell you to do with a minus, you make it plus, and then the 1 be negative, opposite to negative. Now, the top has a minus there, but we do not need to try to factor it. You need to put it in parentheses, though. Okay? Same with that one. It goes in parentheses because there's two different terms. There's plus there. Okay? Or minus. It's going to be minus here in a bit. But it does need to go in parentheses. You don't have to factor it, but you need to parenthesize it. So we drop those. This one's got plus or minus, and when you get to the bottom, that's when you need to start factoring. So x to the second plus 5x minus 14. So you have 3 terms. It's a trinomial. GCF table. No, no, and then 1. Okay. 1 times negative 14 is negative 14. That makes the factors mismatch, positive, negative. And you're going to divide, and you stop dividing when you get 2 factors that add to positive 5. 1 and 14, that's negative 13. 14 divided by 2 is 7. Now stop dividing because that's negative 5. To make it positive 5, you just flip the signs around. Okay. Now you're at positive 5. Your a is 1x to the second. Negative 2, positive 7. Then xx, then you apply the 1 coefficient. Those cannot be simplified because 1's in there. Take the 1 off though. Okay. So I rewrite this as these 2 parentheses. So cross that out. X plus 7, I put it in parentheses and I try to factor it, but I don't think you really can on that one. I mean, it's 2 terms, so it'd be GCF and then dots. Not seeing the x, not seeing the negative 1 and 7's 1. So not, and then if it's a plus, it's no. So then You don't do anything with it other than cross it out and bring it straight down. So now you get your common denominator. So you have x minus 2, x plus 7, and then x plus 7, which I've already got. So x minus 2, I have 1 and 0. It's all about the bottom. Get them so they both have 1. That already has 1. And we put 1 right here. X plus 7, 1 to 1. You already checked. Check that. Okay. Circle one of your fractions, doesn't matter. X minus 2, x plus 7. Now set up your parentheses right here. Okay. So fraction 1, there's no multiplication, none. Okay, there's not a multiplication sign anywhere. So you just bring down x to the second minus 5. You don't need to multiply. But on the second one, we need to multiply. Okay, FOIL. And do that, we'll show that work here. Negative 1x times 1x, negative 1x times negative 2, and negative 3 times 1x, negative 3 times negative 2. So it's negative 1x second, positive 2x, negative 3x, and 6. Okay, so I would slot it, x second, x constant. So you got negative 1, 2 plus negative 3 is negative 1, and then 6. Now you look at the whole thing, and go slot it, you're done multiplying. Okay, 1 plus negative 1 is 0. Get out of here. Those x's, you have the negative 1, and constants, negative 5 plus 6 is 1. So you'd write negative 1x or negative x plus 1. Don't worry about factoring what you get on top. Some teachers would have you do that. I'm not. The next problem is an inexplicable repeat. So cross it off. Okay, next one, negative 15x. And you can clearly see the problem. Okay, I'm not going to read every problem. It's right there. Okay. Top, you don't have any pluses, you don't have any minuses, you don't put that in parentheses. Same with the 12, okay? There's no plus, no minus. And if you parenthesize it, you just still carry it down. The top, I don't factor. The bottom needs to be, okay? Minus, plus, if you can, okay? And it's a trinomial. So 3 terms, that would be GCF. And then my table. Okay, no x, no negative, it'd just be 1. 1 times 16 is 16, that's positive, that's going to be a match. Okay. And you have to add to get to negative 8. 1 and 16, no. That's negative 17. 16 divided by 2 is negative 8. Negative 10, I'm getting close. Keep going. 16 divided by 3 is a decimal. And then 16 divided by 4 is 4. So you put 4 and 4. That's your negative 8. They're identical, that's fine. Okay, always know what your A is. That's why I'm before, because if it was a 1, you can't simplify it, and then it was just XX, but some people were getting confused. Don't be cute and try to write that as a quantity second power, okay? You just replace this with this. You need to see 2 of them. Okay, now here you need to parenthesize it, but as far as factoring, I don't think it really does anything. Okay, because you know the GCF's 1, okay, and then I don't really think this can be adopts without a second power or any kind of even power on the x. I mean, 1 would be the GCF. You may have a minus, and 1 is 1 times 1, or just get rid of the 1 on the dops. You don't need it. X doesn't have a power, that's a no. So if I do nothing, then that just comes down. Okay, common denominator. Really all you have is x minus 4 throughout the whole problem. So there's 2 and 1. 2 factors on the first denominator, 1 on the second. Let's get them both to 2. Okay, so there's my common denominator. It doesn't matter which one you circle. Circle one of the two and just copy that down there. Okay, now you can combine. You can simplify the top now. So I prefer you set this up. So we have no times on the first one, so you're just going to drop negative 15x there. But on the second one, you're just going to distribute the 12. 12 to 1x and the 12 to the negative 4. So that's 12x and negative 48. Really, it's just x and the constant. There's no x second that I came up with. So 12, negative 48. Okay, so you don't have x second. You just got x and the constant. So negative 15 plus 12 is negative 3. And then the negative 48. So negative 3x minus 48. And if I really wanted to be a you-know-what, I would make you factor the top, but I'm not going to do that. Okay. 3 more in this video. That's going to be it. Okay, minus, make it plus, and only the top of the second fraction after it gets reversed, not the bottom. Okay, now let's look at our tops. Do I need parentheses on that? Well, I have a plus, so I need to put in parentheses. Even if that could be factored, I would not do it on top. Okay, I don't care about the top. We're not trying to rewrite the tops. You need to get parentheses, though. There'd be no parentheses there, so you drop it because that's one term. So that's gone, that's gone. X second minus 4, well, it definitely needs a parentheses, and since it's on bottom, we need to see if it can be factored. Remember, because you've got to find a common denominator. You can't do that with the bottoms unless they're factored. So GCF dots. Okay, I don't see x, don't see a negative, it'd just be 1. Alright, so we have the minus sign. You can take the 1 off at that point. By the way, if that's a 4, you need to write 2 times 2, but a 1 you can discard. And then 2 times 2, so it'd be x, 2, 2. And then you just bring I didn't do the GCF, so. Okay, so you replace this with this. X plus 2, x minus 2. Now, x minus 2, most of you should be able to tell by looking at that you're not going to be able to do anything with that binomial. I mean, the GCF, I'll show it in the video, okay? But I mean, look at the GCF. You can tell it's 1, and then it can't be a dots without a power, so that's no. Some of the binomials, if you can tell you can do nothing with them, and they're just going to stay the way they are, then go for it. Okay, so bottom, x plus 2, you're just looking across the bottom, x minus 2, and then another x minus 2. So x plus 2, you have 1 and 0. Okay, so x plus 2, x plus 2. Now they both have 1, 1. The bottoms match. X minus 2, you're at 1, 1, so that's a check. So we're good to go. Circle one of your bottoms. They'll be the same, so it doesn't matter. You copy that. I want you circling one on because I don't want you writing all of them. No, it's just one of them. That's your common denominator. As soon as the bottoms match, you're just bringing it down here. Now that allows us then to simplify the tops. So there's really nothing going on as far as multiplication here. It's just going to be 1x plus 4. Here you're going to have to distribute, okay? So negative 15 times 1x, negative 15 times 2, so that's negative 15x and negative 30, okay? You can put plus negative 30 or minus 30. Okay, so x, 1 and negative 15 makes negative 14, 4 and negative 30 makes negative 26, and that's what you're going to write down there. You can put plus, negative, or minus, doesn't matter. Okay, how many have I done? I think I've done 5. I'm going to do 2 more. That's the end of this. Okay, 9 over x minus 3 plus 2x over x plus 1. Not going to have to do much factoring on this one, like at all. Okay, so, but the top you have to look and see if you need to put it in the expression in parentheses. 9 you don't, obviously. That's 2, it doesn't have a plus, doesn't have a minus, so no parentheses. See, the tops, you're just deciding whether you need to put them in parentheses, but the bottoms, you decide if you need a parentheses, and then you see if you can factor it. Some of you know right away that the x minus 3 is a waste of time because the GCF would be just 1, and I don't think it's adopts, okay? So it's 1, and I don't think, no, you don't even have a power on your x, so no. So this will just drop down as the same thing. And the same thing is going to happen on the x plus 1. Okay, you need to put a parentheses around it. Pluses and minuses need to be in parentheses. The bottom, you need to see if you can factor them. Okay, no, so just be 1. And again, it can't be plus sign, so no. Cross it out, bring it over. So really, if you know a 2-termer can't be factored, fine. Now you come up with your CD, just got x minus 3, and then x plus 1. So x minus 3, I'm at 1, 0, okay? So we're getting them both so they have 1. That already has its 1. I bring this over here. Okay, x plus 1, 0, 1. So get them both so they have 1. And then you also need to remember that that goes on top. You bring a factor on bottom, you got to bring it on top. Now your denominator's set. So you've got x minus 3 times x plus 1. Now simplify your top. Okay, so obviously I got a times on this one. 9 times 1x, 9 times 1. If you know what that is, you can go ahead and write it. It's going to be 9x and 9. So it'll be 9x plus 9. It's not a FOIL, it's just a distribution. Okay, then 2x times 1x and 2x times negative 3. This is me just showing you where I'm getting the stuff. 2x to the second and negative 6. Oh, my bad, I forgot to put the x on that. Negative 6x. So you have x to the second and x. If you want to slot them, you can, but you can tell what's going to happen. So when I look through that, I have x to the second leading off. Then I have my x, then I have my constant. So x second, you got 2. That's it. X, you got 9 plus negative 6. That would be 3. The constant, you have 9. Now, bring that down. You don't have to try to factor it. It doesn't factor anyway, but that's all I need. Okay, last problem. Okay, make that plus, and just the 1 on top of the second one goes into the opposite mode. Well, I have 3 and negative 1. They obviously don't need parentheses. They're monomials. Okay. Plus, you parenthesize it and see if it can factor. If you already know that it can't, just drop it down. I'm just showing for some people that don't recognize it. GCF's 1, and it can't be adopted, so that's a no. So bring down your x plus 4. You need to keep it in parentheses. When you're down here, if something has a plus or a minus, it better be in parentheses. Okay, because then when you go multiply, it's all screwed up if you don't. X plus 6 is kind of the same thing, okay? I mean, it gets a parentheses, and then it's on bottom, so you ask yourself, can I rewrite it in factored form? And the answer to that question is no. Okay, because I mean the GCF's 1 and you have a plus, so that's a no. Okay, so cross that out and it'd just be x plus 6. Okay, so the common denominator, so you have x plus 4 and then x plus 6. X plus 4, 1, 0. Get them both to 1. X plus 6, 0, 1. Get them both to 1. Okay, my denominators are now matching. Remember, if you bring something in new to the bottom, it's got to also be multiplied on top. And it doesn't even matter which bottom you circle, really. Now, figure out what comes out of the first. You obviously need to distribute the 3. Not the FOIL. That's called what I'm doing right there is called distributing. 18. So you got x in the constant, just be 3, 18. Okay, then over here you distribute the negative 1. Negative 1 times 1x, negative 1 times 4. Okay. Negative 1x minus 4. Now you're set to combine things. It'd just be the x and the constant. 3 and negative 1's 2. 18 negative 4 is 14. Now again, if I really wanted to be a jerk, I'd take that binomial you got on top and factor it, but I'm not going to do